Hello and welcome to Positively United today, Sunday the 1st of March 2026. By the way, happy St. David's Day to any of my Welsh followers. Not only a great day for Welsh, a great day for Manchester United. Up to third in the Premier League after a 2-1 home win against Crystal Palace. That started off in the way that seems to have become the norm over the last 3 games. Slow start, undoubtedly, troublingly slow start. I'm not going to pretend that it wasn't. About 20, 25, 30 minutes into the game, I was really worried about the direction that it was going to go. By the way, did say last night when I did the predicted 11, folks out there on social media channels and YouTube channels who were saying United were going to win this game 4-0. Might be, I'll tell you what. There's two reasons why you'd say this game was going to be 4-0. One was over-exuberance, based on how well the team has been playing under Carrick. The second is this. If you are determined to talk United down, if you're determined to see problems for United, even where they don't exist, if you're hell-bent on denying Michael Carrick the permanent job as head coach, then you need to create a perpetual state of chaos, division, negativity, problems. You have to create problems even where they don't exist. Should United have won today's game? Yes. They should be beating Crystal Palace. Should they be beating them 4-0? Of course not. You can't predict 4-0 victories against any team in the Premiership these days, unless you're talking about those who are absolutely, bye-bye, gone. Maybe Wolves, maybe Burnley. But even then, it's tough. Now, the idea that you can just sweep sides, to one side with 4-0 wins and that sort of stuff is just ludicrous. So why predict it? Well, if in your mind you know pretty well that United are going to win a game, but you still want to create some space for yourself to claim it's all a disaster and it's all going wrong and United have finished and Carrick shouldn't get the job, what you have to do is to set a bar that is absurdly high, and then when United don't get there, you criticise them for not getting there. So you predict 4-0, and that means you can claim that a 2-1 is almost like a defeat. It's like saying United need to buy 10 players in the summer. You know full well that United are not going to buy 10 players in the summer, so when United buy 3 or 4 or 5, you can claim that's a total disaster and the club is finished. So don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. United were not going to win this game 4-0. But yeah, I was concerned in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I thought we were sluggish. I thought we looked like the team had played a Thursday night European game, not Crystal Palace. I thought we lacked urgency. I thought we lacked endeavour. I thought our midfield was totally swamped. By the way, interesting about Wharton. I thought Adam Wharton, chance for some of us to, for him to be a bit of an audition for some of us who don't watch Palace week after week. I thought he was excellent in the first half. The Crystal Palace midfield won the first half, and Wharton was quite a big part of that. The troubling thing for Wharton is the substitution after 67 minutes. He looked absolutely exhausted when he walked off the pitch. And I don't think he was putting it on or anything. I think he was totally knackered after 67 minutes. Now, granted, he's played in a European game on Thursday. It is tough. But there are a lot of questions about Wharton, and some questions are to do with his physical fitness and his stamina. And today wasn't necessarily a great counter-argument against those criticisms. First half, genuinely good performance. Crystal Palace won the midfield. Second half, virtually wasn't there and it got substituted after 67 minutes. So frankly, a bit of a mixed audition for Adam Wharton. But getting back to United, which is why we're here. Very sluggish start to the first half. came more into it in the last 15 minutes, say the first half. Second half, by far the better team, and obviously the sending off helped. But we were getting into the ascendancy before the second half, and the penalty and the sending off was as a consequence of us getting on top. And I'll have more to say about that as we do the player ratings. But a good win. Šeško, starts from the beginning, scores the winning goal again. What a record he's developing. A superbly taken header. Great for him. And good win. A really good win. And I'm happy with a 2-0 win because I wasn't setting up a false argument before the game that we should have won 4-0. 2-1 win against Crystal Palace is perfectly good enough. And we're into third. Equal points with Villa. Better goal difference. I don't see us finishing behind Villa. Now, whether that puts us in third place or not is a different matter because I think Villa are in a bit of a tailspin. I think they've been found out. They were overperforming above their stats. I think it's not over for Villa, but I think their battle now is to stay in the European places. It's to get something out of this season. I think they will, but I think that's their battle. But United will finish above Villa. And it just makes qualifying for the Champions League, because remember, it'll be 5 spots probably and above. It just makes it feel now even... United have got an even better chance. And I personally think finishing third would be an achievement. I know that there are some YouTubers out there trying to poo-poo that idea and saying, oh, no, you shouldn't be proud of being third and all that sort of stuff. Look at it in context. At the beginning of the season, until Amorim was sacked, did you think at any single time we were going to finish third in this Premiership? Of course you didn't. Nobody did. To finish third this season will be a triumph. It really will. It'll be akin, in my opinion, to... do you remember the famous Jose Mourinho comment that getting the Man United team that he managed to second place behind, was it City? I can't remember. But, when we finished second and he said, it was the finest achievement of his managerial career. Yeah, we know that Jose can play games with words, and we know that sometimes he says some things that he doesn't really mean. But I think he kind of meant it. It was a dig at the board. Obviously, it was a dig at the club. And obviously, it was a dig at the, respect journalists. But he kind of meant it. If we finish third this season, it really will be quite an achievement, and it'll be a fantastic launch pad for next season. Anyway, let's get to the player ratings, which is the reason we're here. This is the team that we started off with. Le Mans in goal, no surprise there. Dalot, Yoro, Maguire and Shaw across the back. Meno and Casemiro as the defensive midfielders, and Mbomo, Fernandes and Cunha as the attacking midfielders. And as so many of us predicted, Šeško started. And it was really good to see. In terms of play ratings, I'm going to give Le Mans a 6.5, not a 7. Sort of because he sort of didn't have that much to do. And I'm willing to be criticised for what I say next. And if you think I'm being too harsh, do criticise me, because I am in two minds about it. Do you think he did enough of a header, the Crystal Palace goal after 4 minutes? It almost seemed to take him by surprise. He was completely flat-footed by it. Now, was that because of the quality of the header? Was that because of what was going on at the time? I don't know. I've watched it back and forward a few times, and I just think he was caught out a little bit. I just think he was really flat-footed. But I might be being overly critical. Perhaps it was a superbly placed header, and that was just it. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. 6.5 for me for Le Mans today. Dalot. For those of us who don't rate Dalot, and I'm definitely one of those who doesn't think Dalot is a part of a Premiership winning team, I have to say today was kind of like a case study, and I told you so. I've got so many things I've got down on my notes here that he did wrong. 8th minute, misplaced pass straight to a Crystal Palace player. 10 gave a ball away again. 17th minute gave the ball away. 19th minute poor pass. 25th minute poor control. 29th minute I've just written down shocking cross. 33rd minute booked. 88th minute gave the ball away again. Okay. 8th minute good block. 48th minute good cross. But I'm sorry. I thought he was awful. I really did. You could see the reaction of the Old Trafford crowd in the first half with him. They were not happy. It's a 4.5 for me. Remember, by the way I score is every player starts off on a 6, and I knock players down based on stuff they've got wrong, and I mark players up based on stuff they've done well. But to me, it was mostly bad from Delo today, a 4.5. A few videos ago, I did who we ought to be buying, but rather, not who should we buying, the places, the positions on the pitch we need to buy for in the summer. And actually, I've been quite happy by the rumours that have been developing over the last few days that we are looking at a right back. And people have been saying, why are we looking at right back, not left back? We need a right back. Left back, next season, we'll have Dorgu and we'll have Harry Amas with Shaw. On the right, we've got Delo and we've got Mazraoui. And there's a reason why Delo is being selected over Mazraoui, because obviously the managers don't rate Mazraoui that much. But how bad must Mazraoui be in training for Delo to look better? Because when you put Delo on the pitch in the game, as I said today, 4.5 out of 10. Awful. I'm glad we're looking at a right back. You might think I'm going to give some bad scores today when you hear about the next one too. Yoro, 5.5. Sorry, I can't give any more. Just like the game against Everton. Really, really nervous start. 4th minute, dreadful mistake, which led to the Crystal Palace goal. Completely lost his man. Absolutely lost his man. And so it was Lacroix, wasn't it, who scored, guy who ended up being sent off. Lacroix totally got away from Yoro. Yoro just completely got lost. 4th minute goal for Palace. That could have been disastrous for us. It could have been disastrous for us because if Palace had been a low block team, which they're not, Palace could have just shut up shop after the 4th minute. And we know in the last 2 games we've had some difficulty against teams who are willing to defend against all the odds. That could have been a really tough game for us as a consequence. But that wasn't just the first. It was the first of 12th minute, poor pass forward. 14th minute, unnecessary free kick he gave away. Okay, there was a couple of good blocks in the second half. I think one in the 76th minute from Hughes. But I'm sorry, I just don't have confidence in him. Not like I do in, say, Heaven or Maguire or Dalit if he's fit or the Butcher if he's fit. I just don't. In the list of central defenders that we have available to us, I have to say he's bottom or close to the bottom of my list. I'd have been playing Heaven today, not Euro. 5.5. Harry Maguire, 7.5. This guy's renaissance is just something else, isn't it? I think he got substituted in the end to give him a bit of a rest before the game against Newcastle, although he was holding his head. And he had been hit in the head earlier on in the game, so I hope there's nothing going on there. Because I tell you what, he's pretty close to being first name on the team sheet. And I know a lot of people laugh out loud at that. Surely it's got to be Fernandes. Surely it's got to be some other player. He's organising the defence at the moment. He's absolutely crucial to the defence. And he's playing so well. I mean, it's just the list of stuff. Excellent header from the corner in the 33rd minute. Throughout the first half, he was easily our best defender. Constantly organising, constantly getting the ball. Yeah, he's got that slight... Some people think it's an annoying habit of him, standing with the ball halfway through his own half or near the halfway line, looking for the ball to pass. the pass to make, and he just says stand still. I know it infuriates some people who just want sort of like players to just constantly move around like Energizer bunnies for no apparent reason. But he's trying to find the right ball, and he's taking time to do it. I want to say something about the way he reacted to the foul on Cunha that led to the penalty and the sending off. He behaved like a captain more than Fernandes initially did on that. Did you notice how he was on top of the referee straight away, putting the case that it was for a penalty and that it was a sending off? Now, whatever you think about that, that's up to you. If you think it's right for one player to get another player sent off. But that's really what a captain ought to be doing. It's getting in the ear of the ref and putting their side of the story to the ref. He did it absolutely brilliantly. He was sent away by the ref eventually. But I think by then he'd actually sewn the story into the ref's head that, yeah, it was a penalty and yet he deserved to get sent off. I thought it was really, really good captain-type behaviour from him. 80th minute, he came across from his side of defence because he was playing on the left, and he came across to the right where Yoro should have been to clear the ball. And he could have just booted the ball upfield, and frankly, at that stage of the game, a lot of defenders would. But no, he did a beautiful cross-field pass, I think, to Mazraoui. Just a brilliant performance by Maguire. I've given him a 7.5, and I'm wondering, after having said all that, why I didn't give him an 8. But I'll stick with a 7.5. Yet another fantastic performance from Maguire. By the way, the people who say he shouldn't get an extra 1-year contract, are you on glue? I mean, what are you on? Of course he deserves another season at the club. And by the way, not because he deserves it, because we need him. De Ligt's always injured. Martinez is often injured. I think Harry Maguire's got one season at this club where he'll still play a large number of games. I tell you what, if next season we are in the Champions League or in the Europa Cup, and we do have extended runs in the FA Cup and the League Cup, and we're right up, we're playing until the last game, we're in contention of winning the Premiership, we will need Harry Maguire, and he'll do a great job for his fantastic performance, 7.5. Shaw came off injured after 24 minutes, and I have to say I'm worried about that, because if Shaw is injured and he can't make his way back, who the hell did we play? Because I'll come to Mazraoui in a bit. But Shaw wasn't really on long enough for me to give him anything but a 6. But concerning that he went off injured. And he looked really quite troubled as well. If I was watching it on television, he looked really crestfallen. Really crestfallen, actually. So I really hope... And he had his foot trodden on a few minutes earlier. I hope he wasn't feeling that something had gone wrong with his foot. Badly wrong with his foot. We'll have to wait and see, but concerning. Moving into our defensive midfielders, Casemiro, a 7 bordering on a 7.5, but I'm going to keep it to a 7. The first half, him and Mainu, I lost the midfield. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so it feels hard to give him more than a 7. But in the second half, with the tiring of Wharton, and we were definitely playing better, he definitely played better as well. But even in the first half, 38th minute, really, really cheeky back heel. I don't know if you noticed that, almost put United through. 42nd minute, I think he missed a sitter of a header. Maybe you think I'm a bit mean on him there because it was quite high, but I think for his standards, it was a really good chance. 48th minute, good header from a Dalot cross. Is one of the very few things that Dalot did well. 63rd minute, great cross to Fernandes. And in the 74th minute, the effort, I think it was a volley, wasn't it, that brought a fantastic save from Henderson. So 7 could have been a 7.5, but I'm going to leave it at 7 because I think both central defensive midfield players didn't have a great first half. Mainu, it's a 6.5 for me, for pretty much the same reasons that I've mentioned for Casemiro, but I don't think he did as much as Casemiro in the game. Definitely had the worst of the first half against the Crystal Palace midfielders, particularly Wharton. Got better in the second half, but still there wasn't enough in it. He was still open for the ball all the time. He could still create space. I thought I'm going to say this. I think it's been his most disappointing game under Carrick so far. I really do. It's to me, it's a 6.5. I couldn't really give it much more. Of the three attacking midfielders, I'm going to leave Fernandes to last. I'm going to start with Mbeumo and Cunha. Mbeumo, a 6.5. It was, it was good enough. It wasn't as good as some of his recent performances. I actually think he's been tailing off a little bit over the last couple of games. Maybe he's just tired. And maybe in the next game, where I would expect Šeško to start again, maybe in the next game against Newcastle, it's time to let him start the game on the bench, play Ahmad from the beginning, and then bring Mbeumo on as the game moves on. Because maybe fatigue is getting to him a little bit. I mean, still great cross in the 33rd minute. But still, there wasn't enough special today to bump him up anything higher than a 6.5 to me. Same for Cunha, although you could argue that Cunha deserves to go up to 7 because he won us the penalty. And boy, did he win that penalty. I don't know what you thought about it. I thought Lacroix was really quite unlucky to get sent off for that. I mean, Cunha made the most of it. And that's what you have to do if you're a forward, in all fairness. And in all fairness to Cunha, the reason that the tackle comes in or the pullback comes in is Cunha starting to cause him problems down that left-hand side. He is. And if people say that Cunha's been a disappointment since he came from Wolves, I don't agree with you. I think he's been absolutely excellent. I think all of our summer signings have been excellent. And the thing about Cunha is he doesn't have to play well all the time. He can play well in some parts of the game and then sort of like get a little bit quieter. But the thing about it is when he's playing well, he causes defences problems and he causes individual defenders problems. And we saw that today, and it won us the penalty and it turned the game around. So I've been probably a little bit mean on him, giving him a 6.5. Perhaps he deserved a 7, but we'll leave it at 6.5 because otherwise his game was a bit quiet. But yeah, again, valuable contribution by Cunha. Fernandes, it's got to be an 8. This man's form, since he's been moved back into his favourite number 10 position by Carrick, has been nothing short of sensational. And I think by now he must be a leading contender for any Player of the Year awards that are coming up, like the PFA Player of the Year and the Football Writers Player of the Year. He's got to be now a leading contender. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best number 10 in the Premiership. I think there's a case to be made that he's the best number 10 in Europe. In the summer, he might prove he's the best number 10 in the world with Portugal. Who knows? But 37th minute, great cross for Šeško. 41st minute, superb free kick. What a free kick that was. The 56th minute, the penalty. Ice cool. I was so worried about that penalty because we know that Hendo is a good, we know he's a good goalkeeper against penalties. There are some of us who think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might still be the Manchester United manager today had he taken a pretty brave and tough decision in the final of the Europa League when it went to penalties. If he'd brought Henderson on for the penalties, I'm pretty certain Hendo would have saved at least one of those penalties. Absolutely certain of it. And we probably would have won that Europa League final, but yeah, 60th minute, a beautiful back heel to send in Šeško, who missed control, unfortunately. 63rd minute, wonderful attempt on goal. It just wouldn't curve. He hit it. It just wouldn't curve into the goal. It just went beyond what was the right-hand post, goalkeeper's left-hand post. 64th minute, superb cross to Šeško for the goal. I mean, Šeško's headed goal was just superb itself. So the header was great, but the cross was just perfect from Fernandes. 73rd minute, superb crossfield pass to Mbeumo. And it just went on. And the running, the enterprise, the effort, the energy, all the way through the game. He's just like a Superman at the moment. Remember, there were people who wanted to sell him last summer. Let that sink in. Yeah, let that sink in. Šeško up front, a 7. His headed goal was magnificent. It really was. It was a perfect centre-forwards goal. He was a little quiet otherwise, but he's a little bit tough on him because I don't think the game in the first half was going in his direction, if you understand what I mean. I don't think United's players certainly weren't doing enough to provide him with chances. So it was a bit tough on him in the first half. He had very, very few touches on the ball. I think the stats show. Came into it much more in the second half, and the goal was superb. Didn't look massively happy when he got substituted. Did you notice? I don't think he did. I think he looked really, really brassed off and didn't look happy on the dugout. And I was a bit surprised, in a sense, in the circumstances that he was taken off, because 2-1 up, even with 10 men, I think Palace kind of like posed a danger, and I thought maybe Šeško would actually stay on, and maybe a tiring Mbeumo would come off in favour of Ahmad, because Ahmad definitely was it was a good decision to bring Ahmad on, but I don't know why it was necessarily Šeško that came off, but there you go. He did, but a 7 for Šeško. This is how I think the team looked after all the substitutions had been made. So Mazraoui came on for Shaw after 24 minutes. I'm giving him a 6 because actually I don't think he had a very comfortable game. He didn't do anything necessarily wrong. But when you see Mazraoui playing as a left full-back, he's fine as a fullback, but you really see the limitations when he moves forward. I don't know if it was just the way he was playing today, but I'd forgotten how right-footed he is, or unwilling he is to use the left foot to cross. So we had him getting into quite advanced positions, occasionally at least, and then having no left foot at all. I mean, even compared to Shaw, who I criticise for doing it, cutting in on the right, always cutting in on the right. I think he did eventually make one cross. Yeah, 32nd minute he made a cross. But I think that was it in the game, one cross. I might be wrong. But it didn't look a great performance. So to me, it's a 6 out of 10. Not that he did anything wrong as a defender, but he offered nothing going forward, in my opinion, or next to nothing. And that's a real concern. I was surprised, actually, that when Mazraoui came on, Carrick didn't swap the fullbacks, that he didn't put Mazraoui onto the right and bring Dalot onto the left. And I was even more surprised when it didn't happen at half-time. Because I think we got more out of Mazraoui. Dalot was playing badly enough that it frankly didn't matter what fullback position he was playing in. Mazraoui, I think, would have offered us more if he'd been on the right, because that's more his natural side of the pitch. So, yeah, just a bit weird that I thought. Who came on next? Well, I'll go from back to front. Heaven, I'm going to give him a 6.5. You might think that's a bit generous because he wasn't on the pitch for very long. He came on in the 84th minute, but I just thought he looked totally comfortable when he came on. Totally the opposite to Yoro in the first few minutes of Yoro's game. When Heaven came on, looked totally comfortable. And really, 92nd minute, really, really great interception from a forward ball that had been played by Palace. I just thought he looked cool. Whereas Yoro looks agitated and nervous. Yeah, 6.5 for Heaven. Diallo came on, as I said, for Šeško. but played on the right. And actually, I thought Ahmad was really, really quite good when he came on. I'm giving him a 7 because he wasn't on for that long. Came on in the 74th minute, but I thought he did some really, really good stuff. Great effort, saved by Hendo in the 79th minute. And then a superb shot in the 92nd minute. And another really excellent Henderson save. Yeah, I thought he looked lively. I thought he looked sharp. He got 2 really good shots off. It's a 7 for Diallo. Could have been more if he'd been on for longer, but a good performance by Diallo. And Xerxes, who came on for Mbumo in the 84th. 5.5. He came on in the 84th minute and he had 10, 15 minutes. This lad never seems to take his chance. And actually, I'm going to give him a 5.5 because his first 5, 6, 7 minutes were littered with mistakes. He gave the ball away so many times. Ball could never stick with him. He just doesn't take his chance. Maybe it's really unfair on him. Maybe the fact he doesn't play games means he's constantly behind the pace. And he's always struggling for that little bit of edge. But you know what? You've got to take your chances, and he didn't today. So, yeah, 5.5 for Xerxes. And to finish it off, it won't come as a surprise to you, will it? to hear that my man of a match, Bruno Fernandes. Another superhuman performance by him. I genuinely don't know how he does it. He's clearly the fittest player on the pitch in any game he plays. His mental toughness is unbelievable. That penalty in those circumstances, cool as anything. Yeah, he is our man of the moment, and as I said, I think he's got to be right up there for Player of the Year awards this year. If he doesn't get close, I think he'll be very, very unlucky. Okay, those are my player ratings for the game against Crystal Palace. Leave a comment in the comments below if you disagree with any of my scores. I've got a feeling that people might have a go at my Lenny Yoro score. I don't know why anybody have a dig at my Delo score. I think that was absolutely what he deserved. But apart from that, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like what I do on this channel, please hit subscribe. If you think you've got a friend who supports United and would like the attitude and the opinion that I put forward on this channel, please let them know about the channel as well, and encourage them to subscribe as well. Hit the bell icon and then you'll be told about upcoming future videos. Follow the channel on X. The link is in the description. If you want to contribute a little bit, any small amount is gratefully received. We have a coffee account. The link is in the description. The money would go towards improving the technical capability of the channel and promoting the channel. We don't do any of that at the moment. And that's it. Yeah. Until we see each other again, always remain positively united. And if you can't be positively united when we're third in the league, when you think about the context of the season that we've had so far, then I kind of feel sorry for you.